And our platform is a totally DIY based, do it yourself, and it's very easy to use, animated. There are the characters like E-Man, and there's a one is E-Man, there is another character Go, and there is a fairy tale kind of thing. So these are the kind of thing we have to make it very engaging for the child. And the things are going to be because we have to make it easy for the parents as well. Otherwise, because generally the parent decide what they want to, because lack of awareness generates the fear, and the parents are not aware of all the new age career exist. So if you will ask some parent that okay, if some child will say I want to become a YouTuber, hey, what is YouTuber बनना मतलब क्या होता है, क्या चुटकुले सुनाएगा, क्या करेगा भाई, ठीक है ना? But there are n number of other career exist, and if a child will be able to show the parents that at that time itself, look at this video, an expert is saying it, how much is the salary a YouTuber is earning, or how to become a YouTuber, I have those capabilities in me, please allow me, right? And if you want, then I can also go for this psychometric assessment that will tell me what capabilities I have. So there are scientific ways of choosing a career. So and it will become, earlier the children were used to choose the stream only, now they will be choosing the subjects. For example, when I was a student, I wanted to choose I want to study the economics and as well as other subjects. When I went to college, I was allowed to take those subjects, but I wouldn't happy if those options were there. Options are there, but confusion will increase. So such kind of AI based kind of platforms will be required. So and we are preparing that with the whole heart, and our hard work is going into that. So that's all about the platform which we are developing. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil ji, for guiding and sharing this development that with the help of technology, how can we choose right career for ourselves. So with this, I'll invite Mr. Savio John. Savio, music, as you said during your opening remark, that has been mentioned in
जी,
NEP more than 20 times. In fact,
correct,
this is
right.
perhaps the first policy, at least in our lifetime, where
Hmm.
government is officially recognizing the importance of co-curricular activities, you know,
Absolutely.
in an institutional way. So, what is
Hmm.
your interpretation of a national education policy, Savio? Over to you.
Th- Thank you, Rajulji. What is commendable is that the NEP has addressed so many diverse aspects, and there is a lot of focus on things which are very relevant, especially the 21st century skills such as communication, collaboration, creative thinking, and I feel that the focus is totally on experiential holistic learning. I feel it will help the students equip themselves for skills, for a practical life. And the NEP has laid out some very good guidelines for it. I would like to begin by addressing about the importance of music. Taking you a few thousand kilometers from here to the United States of America, where we as a company started. The company which I'm representing today is called Torrens Music, and around 13 years back, we started there, and right now we are in over 200 public schools in the US. And these are public schools. They do not have a lot of funding, etc., and they have to, bootstrap and manage everything on their own. And even in that kind of a tight financial setup, in all the schools where we are, we have noticed that, the laboratories allow the kids, every single kid, to have a proper hands-on on each instrument. There are like 30 guitars, 30 keyboards, 30 drum pads, and so on. So, in all this, what happens is that the child doesn't have to wait for the other kid to stop playing the guitar, probably. And, like what we see in some of the schools in India is like there are five, six children who are sitting around a guitar, and every kid is just getting 5 minutes on a particular instrument. And the kind of laboratories which are in the US, we do not even see it in most of the premium schools in India. And I think that this is the kind of shift we need to see, with this, with the guidelines which are laid in the new NEP and how it is going to be implemented. And I feel unless and until we allow one-to-one access to facilities, we are never going to see the desired change or the value addition which we might be desiring. And mentioning music in the NEP, I think it was high time that the value and the contribution of music to human beings as a whole, that this got recognized. And but I still feel that we need to streamline the whole idea of music in the learning curriculum. There needs to be an acknowledgement of the different types of intelligence too, like how we were just talking about aptitude and what courses we need to offer kids. And somebody also spoke about the foundation level, and there needs to be a great level of importance given to aptitude. Howard Gardner has already put forth a theory on the various types of intelligence. And there is already such a lot of research which is done in music. And it shows that, music directly impacts the cognitive development of children. Like ma'am was just mentioning about 750,000 plus neurons being developed at the foundational levels of children. And music helps kid develop social skills, emotional skills, motor skills, or whatever it may be. And pregnant mothers listening to classical music when the baby is in the womb, it has you know it is known that music has a very positive influence even in the unborn child. And given the current situation where children between the age of 6 and 14, just like Mr. Sunil Dangi was mentioning, there are situations where children are suffering from depression, anxiety, hyperactivity disorders, stress, and a lot of cases lead to situations like suicide. So, equipping children for a good career, but also equipping them to handle and manage crisis should be an important aspect which needs to be implemented through the NEP. And allowing these extracurricular courses, changing their entire face and bringing them into the co-curricular side is a welcome move. Whether you call it music, dance, or some kind of a skill, whichever the kid wants to learn, I think it is going to help the kid in the long term. I remember one of the principals of a reputed school in central India. After we gave them the music program, I was invited for a small discussion. The principal thanked me that after introducing this music program, they have witnessed an up to 100% reduction in classroom violence and equipment destruction. And being stakeholders of such premium institutions, I know all of us in the panel would agree that repairing and uh, developing equipment which is damaged and situations like classroom violence and the breakage of multiple things, it all attracts hundreds and thousands of rupees. And this is all because there is a lot of latent energy which is inside the kid, and unless and until this energy is channelized in the right form, it is going to be you having damaging consequences. And exposing children to something like music would help them, bring all these extra energies into focus. The child learns a skill, he helps himself, with something which is going to be a part for an entire lifetime. During one of our previous sessions, a very senior educationist said, we just do not want to become a superpower. We need to have proper leaders and we need to have individuals who know their responsibilities. So, companies like us, we are in music education. We come into the picture because we know that a certain level of expertise is required when it comes to introducing music as a music curriculum to the entire country and to the various schools. We also understand that there is a dearth of experienced instructors. So we are not just music teachers, we are a education solution provider. We provide a 360-degree solution for music. We provide teachers, curriculum, training, equipment to the level of 20-25 guitars, keyboards, drums, etc. So uh, I feel for something like music to be implemented in a proper way across the country, it needs to be a theory and application integrated program, and we have the technical know-how of how to go about doing it. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Radulji.
Thank you, Savio, for highlighting how music can increase our efficiency. So, once again, a big thanks to all our key speakers for participating and making this session truly special. With this, we come to the last part of the session, the questions. With this, I'll start presenting questions to our key speakers. I would request Monisha, ma'am, if I can present the first question to you.
Yes, please.
Right. So Monisha ma'am, this question has come from Sitapur, UP. Alpna Devi ji, she's a TGT Hindi with the Sumitra Modern School, Sitapur. She's asked this question. What are the changes in NEP for a language teacher, or the benefits for a language teacher post NEP implementation?
See, I do not see any changes as such for a language teacher, except for the fact that every language teacher will get equal importance now. Up till now, our society has been a very English dominant society, right? So all the teaching was happening in English, and because of that, the preference was basically with the language English. But now that we are allowing the language teachers to teach in the relevant or the regional languages, and that is an accepted norm by the NEP, I think the importance of the language teachers is just going to show a shift, which again, like I say, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be that easy, and it's not going to just happen overnight. And like
Absolutely.
Mr. Lal had put across a question, it is, they've very aptly put this thing that children should be taught in regional languages, and it's okay to be taught in regional languages. I see that concern because if I look at my childhood background, we were transferred after every 3 to 5 years. And maybe the cultural diversity came because we were allowed to learn in English, but we had a third language as a regional language to learn from. So the culture came from there, but we did not need to move back into our academic level because we were not taught in that language. So imagine from Rajasthan, when I moved to Gujarat, if I was to do my primary education in Rajasthani and then from third I moved to fourth and I have to learn Gujarati, I'm going to be completely lost. So yes, I am concerned about what that is going to do. But other than that, I think language teachers will feel a little more important, especially Hindi. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. I'll come back to you. With this, I would request Jayan sir, if I may present this question to you. This question has come from Faridabad, Mr. Toms Thomas. He's a TGT Physics with Jiva Public School, Faridabad. Mr. Thomas has asked, how will this NEP solve the serious problem of dereliction of duty among government school teachers?
Oh
Will that
boy.
motivate?
You know, I think what needs to happen is accountability. And as one of the panelists did mention, that parental involvement is going to be very crucial. I think in every government school, parental involvement has got to increase. Take for example Delhi government. They've done a fantastic job with their government schools. I mean, I was in discussion with Mr. Your deputy chief minister in Delhi, and with Atishi Madlina, who actually was leading the education program, and got to have some kind of indication of what they were going to be doing. They actually, I think, have transformed government school education in Delhi. Uh, Having said that, I think other states do need to bite the bullet, as it were, and really take on teachers head on. Because if you look at government schools and the teacher recruitment, it's more a scam rather than actually, bringing on teachers. I'm saying this publicly, and I can be held accountable for this, but it is a fact. Look at the way government teachers today are unable to even, speak the language in which they're supposed to instruct the kids. Where are the kids going to come to school? So I was involved with the Madhya Pradesh government for they wanted some little help with getting government schools improved. And after many days of discussions, the one thing that emerged was that let us first make sure that the government school teacher comes to school. Now, if he can come to school, something will happen. So I think that is the first responsibility of any school administration, is make sure that your teacher comes to school. The second thing is the one hope and request to governments, that please don't involve teachers with every little government program that you have, whether it is voting or some kind of, anything or the other, any public drive, and they recruit teachers. Uh, it's just not the right forum, the right kind of people to use. Uh, it just gives people another excuse to bunk going to school. Anyway, I hope I've answered the question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Accountability is the key. So we need to find ways, and as per Jen sir, this NEP, does not show a clear roadmap. How it would implement it. So thank you, Jen sir. I'll come back to you. With this, I would request Kiran ma'am, if I may present this question to you. This has been asked by Miss Nidhi Tamar. She's a teacher, with the New Delhi Public School, Palwal. Nidhi has asked categorically how this NEP would change our education system. So, highlight one or two key changes which you perceive, post NEP implementation, let's say 15 years from now or 10 years from now. Kiran ma'am.
Number one, I should say, is that they are going to build up a gap between ECCE and early education, because this gap was quite wide till now. The schools who were running nursery, UKG, and LKG, they all were having their own pattern. With the thing that when the child was admitted into standard one, there was a huge gap. Now, since they are making this 3+2 together, either together, or if there are separate schools, that preparatory is going to be added along with standard 1 and 2, or if this is not possible, then they are going to have a bridge course in between. So I think this is certainly going to have help, because whatever gap was created by early childhood education and all, that gap was difficult to be covered up by the schools, because there was a particular syllabus for class 1, and that has to be, the necessities for that have to be met with. But over here now, I think that problem will not be there. And since we are taking care of the children nutrition wise, I mean, as it is expected or as it is promised, nutrition wise, then transport wise, and all other promises are there, if they all are to be met with, certainly the child will have good progress in the initial years, and later on I'm sure the children will not have any difficulty. Secondly, it will depend on the principals also. That is, they also have to bring a kind of uniformity in the school, because if there are four teachers teaching four sections, they should not be allowed to teach the subject in different ways. Of course they can have their ideas, but they must share their ideas with each other before they go to the classrooms, and out of those ideas there is no harm in picking up the best of the ideas. And with that, the pupil's voice in the class must be heard. So this policy will allow that to be incorporated, to be embedded in the school's lesson plan or school learning and teaching schedule. I think this will be helpful for the children and the teachers
Right.
as well.
Right. In fact, during our last session, one of the leader said that in next 10 years, there would be schools, who are teaching 5 lakh students or 10 lakh students across country. So we are going to see those kind of Gen school with the help of technology. They would be providing services. So I would
Def-
request Indrajit ma'am. Thank you, Kiran ma'am. I'll come back to you. So Indrajit ma'am, if I may present this question to you. This has been asked by Miss Shobana Bajpayee. She's an examination in charge in PGT Biology with Sumitra Modern School, Sitapur, Uttar Pradesh. Shobana ji has asked how this NEP will create impact on teachers' recruitment. Will it still be mandatory to qualify for TET or CTET? So, how do you see that?
See, here, Mr. Rajul, I would like to tell this to Shobna. Now, the role of teacher, if we follow this NEP in true letter and spirit, the role of teacher will be more demanding. So, I believe the CTET and other examination, they also have to raise their bars. I suggest rather they should raise their bars, and we should have with positive approach, with more energy, with more creativity and innovation, those who can bring all these new teaching methodologies in rather a way further. So the way we are doing it, like I just tell you one teaching, we are doing it flip classroom in classes. So if I ask in the interview some children, do you understand by flip classrooms, many of them not even aware about this concept, as it is the word meaning flip, where the role of instructor changes. What generally happen in the classrooms, the teacher teaches and children listen, and then we write on the blackboard, we ask question and they answer. So here we have delivered knowledge, but I want my children should create knowledge. In that perspective, We give them a topic, we tell them to learn, to do research about it, and then we make groups. Then children discuss those topics in the class. They can bring some toys. If it's a junior class, they can bring some material related to the topic, and that creates a vibrancy and enthusiasm in the class. So I believe the classroom should be noisy. Classroom should be noisy where the learning takes place. This way the children will create knowledge in spite of simply we dictate them, this is the answer of this question. So in that perspective, I would like to tell you, Shobna, yes, those I suggest that we should have such agencies to check teachers and their recruitment. The person who really wants to be a teacher, who's passionate to be a teacher, should come in this profession, because we are not dealing with files, we are not dealing with data, we are dealing with life. We are dealing with life. So our role is very crucial, because as we keep on saying and keep on hearing, the teacher is the second mother and mother is the first teacher, then you understand the glory of this profession. So we should live up to this standard. This is what I would like to tell you, Shobna. Thank you so much. I
Thank
hope I
you.
have answered the question.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Indrajit ma'am, I'll come back to you. With this, I would request Mr. Nitin, Nitin ji, this NEP has emphasized upon that vocational, education integration to the formal school education. So, but many school have also highlighted that this would be very challenging. Nitin ji, do we have your presence? I don't see your name here. I believe we have lost the signal with Mr. Nitin. Sunil ji, I'll come to you with the question. This NEP is offering a lot of flexibility in terms of choosing subjects. So a lot of parents would create more confusion. While choosing their careers. So, what are your comments?
Definitely, it's not about just this. If there will, if you are visiting a shop where there is only one type of cloth, there is only one T-shirt, there is no confusion. Either you buy or leave. But if there will be multiple T-shirts over there, that confusion will arise. You go and there is a one shop which has 100 T-shirts, and you visit a shop which has a 200 T-shirts. Where will you get confused more? Of course, where is the 200 T-shirts, right? So, but there is a way of solving such kind of problem. So, and that is sometime, that computer. I know that human role cannot be. We cannot go away with the human role, but sometime at few things where a computer can play a better role than a human, where the human biases should not be there, a neutral thing should come. That's where the computer plays a vital role. So as you said, the more confusion will be there. So we have the kind of platform, there should be a platform which helps to give the unbiased information to the child, and what he is looking for, the similar kind of thing, similar type of thing should be given to that child. Yes, confusion will be there, but there are ways where the teacher will have to play a vital role to solve the queries of the child, as well as such platform must be used. That's what my answer.
Thank you.
May I give my input here?
Please, ma'am.
Yes, Sunilji, when you started your talk and you said that it is very important that we should know which profession we should go in. So I always often give this example to my students. When a drop of water falls into a lake, it has no identity. It immerses into water. But when it falls on the petal of a lotus, it shines like a pearl. So it's very important the one should be at the right place.
Yeah.
So there you are talking about confusion of subjects. This the NEP is with this spirit, not exactly starting from class 10th and 12th or maybe 9th onwards, where the children have to choose subjects. It is right from the beginning. Why do we have these innovative teaching pedagogies or methodologies? Because this will bring focus in children's mindset right from the beginning. This is a gradual journey when child will learn to identify himself or herself. And it is not only in class ninth. When this focus will be developed gradually till he reaches up to the class ninth, he will have some clear mindset, like which direction, what is my passion, what is my interest, and which direction I should go, which subject I should study, and which subject I should study, keeping in mind the professional point of view. I think this is the training throughout will certainly play a role in this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry
And just
interrupting
to,
you. I felt
you
like to
know,
share with you. So
And just to add
Right.
on to this, of adding subjects is very beneficial because many a
Yeah.
times I may be passionate about something. I don't want to make a
Yeah.
career in it. So
Career,
music is
yes,
my
yes.
passion. That's my
Passion.
de-stressor.
That's
And
my stress.
education is my career, right? So to have these multidisciplinary options is very
Yeah.
innovative and it's good.
So
In a
Monisha
long run,
ma'am,
this is
yeah,
beneficial.
we study keeping our passion. What I'll be doing after school? We should
Yes. So
study
we
to
have to
gain
choose that.
knowledge, for
Yeah.
enjoyment, for my solace to my soul.
And that's where
And
the
I have
suicides
one
will
I have one
automatically
comment
come
on this.
down.
I have one comment on this. I believe Indrajit ma'am, Monisha ma'am, Kiran ma'am, and Jen sir would agree with me. Sunilji, there were always hundreds of T-shirts, but shopkeeper did not show those T-shirts to the students
Exactly,
to the
because of the
buyer.
trend.
So, as Jens has said that accountability would be the key. So they is like there's this fear, still the fear. The shopkeeper may not give that option, to the buyer. So thank you, all with this.
One,
Please, ma'am. Yes, Kiran, ma'am.
okay. Now, as you all are saying that something should be chosen at the school level about which you are passionate, but what about if the choice changes at the college level? It's not for sure that whatever I will choose at the
Yes.
school level, I will stick to it. I may not. Because
I
at
think
times, sometimes we have worked for 20, 30 years at certain place, and then we find out that, oh my God, we had this passion also. So it may happen with the children when they join the college.
ma'am, I would like to add that there is a personality is something use that's a trait that given a situation a person will behave in a similar way. That's the difference. If a person who is open, so he will always remain open. For example, if that open person is going with the friends and they got stuck somewhere in the mountains, and he will come out of jeep and he'll say how beautiful it is, right? That's And if the similar person will go into a marriage and suddenly say lights goes out, right, then he'll say oh maja aa gaya. So that thing doesn't changes, right? So what we do generally, what happens is that हम लोग माँ बाप ये बताते हैं बेटा सीए बनना अच्छा है. They don't look at what the personality of that child is. That should be chosen, and that personality will come up sometime later, and when they will the position to decide for their own, then they'll start cribbing. That's known as the midlife crisis. That's what I'm doing, right? If that would
Right.
have been done at an early age, something which doesn't change. There are two type of aptitude or talent. One is the acquired
I'll request
one
Sunilji,
talent.
we are running out of time. We know you
Yeah,
are an
so
expert. We have been doing
yes,
when someone does a
there are
research
many ways
for
to
years, so it's always,
All enjoying this discussion.
absolutely, absolutely. We are doing that, but the time again is something, right? So Savio, I would come to you. As this
Yeah.
NEP has focused upon the music, there, but while talking to a lot of educators, a lot of school leaders, we have realized where are the trainers for music in particular. So what would be your suggestion, how every school, if they would start uh, training music or giving option music as an option to their students, do we have that number of infrastructure and trainers for every school?
There are certain aspects to this, the NEP also speaks about inviting a local expert in the field of music and
Yes.
conducting a short-term 3 or 4 month class depending upon various subjects, specifically like music or handicraft or on those lines. What happens is that if we start doing this, then we can save the folk music, which is, I feel, now a dying concept in the various parts of India. Secondly, about music, about the dearth of teachers, which is going to be very significant, there needs to be some kind of a framework also designed for the training of music teachers. And there needs to be some kind of a singularity in the kind of expertise which the music teachers have across India, especially if we are going to be implementing a certain kind of curriculum. Now, access to instruments might be a little difficult for all the various schools we have across the country. Here is where we can give children an introduction to music. There are multiple courses like beatboxing, songwriting, singing. Singing does not require any instruments. Um, Body percussion, home percussion. These are innovative courses which can give an idea to kids about the basic concepts of music, like clapping, stomping, jumping on rhythm, on tempo. All these things do not require an instrument. And if we go satellite, if we have these remote methods of teaching children, and I think a lot of it can be very, very cost effective in the remote schools across India.
Right, right,
And
absolutely.
NEP is anyway talking about digital, right? So I
Yes,
think that
absolutely,
is
ma'am.
going to
Yes,
allow a lot of exchange of knowledge at a very easy
yes,
pace.
absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely.
Right, right. Thank you, Savio. With this, we come to the end of this session. We have entered into the concluding part of the session. So I'll again, thank all our speakers for participating and making this session truly special. So before I invite our key speakers, for your concluding remarks, I'll thank all the speakers. Monisha ma'am, thank you for participating. We talked about, how this early child care education is that important. 85% of brain development, happens during that phase. One achievement, I believe, which NEP has already achieved, that is that it has created that mass awareness, among people, that 0 to 6 year, this is the most important phase of you know, so that has already been achieved. So you also talked about that, the NEPs increased focus upon literacy and numeracy. You talked about that care factor, is
Exactly.
lacking, is missing, and education factor is mentioned in a laudable way. You also talked about that, critical skills, needs to be developed among our kids, among our, the students. So thank you, Monisha ma'am. I'll come back to you with your, concluding remarks. Jain sir, talked about that, you know, education must move towards less content. you know we need to create the joyable process. And NEP gives us a hope that it will take us from that low rote learning environment to the you know to the environment where the development of all the students, on the lines of the creative we would be exploring their creative potential. You also talked about that, Jen sir said that we have started lacking in those values, the Indian values, that courtesy, humanness, which are missing in, we need to focus upon that. And then you said, like, NEP is a recognition of teachers. It has the potential to bring that glory back for teachers. Thank you, Jen sir. I'll come back to you. And Kiran ma'am talked about literacy and numeracy. Teachers need to be encouraged. They need their contribution needs to be recognized. That may be in terms of monetary compensation, that needs to be in terms of the training, or it needs to be in terms of other kind of encouragement. So thank you, Kiran ma'am. I'll come back to you with your concluding remark. And then Indrajit ma'am talked about that, we need to find ways where we can have more interested and passionate teachers. We can develop them. Flexibility needs to be provided at every level, not just at during that limited phase. You also talked about that we need to reduce the curriculum. We need to rewrite our curriculum and syllabus. You also talked about that NEP has a special focus upon assessment, be it in terms of parak or you know uh, two exams. Introduction of two exams is going to create a meaningful environment. It would encourage the peer tutoring. Is a wonderful initiative. And eventually this NEP takes us from that closed kind of environment to the open environment. But you also highlighted challenges like the finance, or the lack of proactive parental involvement. So thank you, Indrajit ma'am. I'll come back to you with your opening remark. Nitinji talked about how this choice-based credit system, will create wonders. And Sunilji talked about the importance upon choosing the right and how technology can help it. Sergio talked about the importance of music. So big thanks all our speakers. I would request, if we can have your, concluding remark. Also, we have established one practice. So while giving your concluding remark, if you can also share one innovative idea which you would like to implement, if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of our country, so that idea you would like to implement, कि ये तो करना ही है. So I'll come to people randomly so that you cannot fix your answers. So I'll begin with Sunil ji. आप मुझे सबसे ज्यादा तैयार नजर आ रहे हैं अभी. So आपसे शुरू करते हैं. तो आपका concluding remark, और आपका आप वो क्या करेंगे कि ये तो करना ही है Minister of Education के.
Did you read my face that I am ready for it?
आप इतने सीरियस नजर आ रहे हैं कि मतलब आपके पास बहुत ही
I
there are
could have
good
been confused one.
yeah yes Sunil ji, please.
Yeah. Anyways, I think the purpose of the education is to know to that's the first thing, right? It is to bring happiness and to spread the happiness across the society in which we are living, and to keep yourself happy. That's the prime objective. Anyways, I so and to remove that midlife crisis kind of thing, what can be done? I would have worked upon as a because you'll be one should not crib later on later on the life that I wish I would have studied that thing because I am fit for that. That should not have happened. So what I would have done is there should have been a scientific way of choosing the career. I'm not saying that choosing the career in a scientific way will make you successful in that, because there are a lot of other things are required into it, right? So maybe after career counseling, I may come up with that I should become an actor. But if I'll not be practicing it, I cannot become a good actor, right? So, but the kind of personality or interest which I have, that should be gone through, and we should remove to bring the happiness. I was among in school in UP. I was asking the question to the kids that what you want to become in their life. The answer was so surprising. They're saying we want to be happy. That's the
सर
answer.
आपका आइडिया मिनिस्टर ऑफ एजुकेशन के तौर पे वो
तो
भी
वही
बता
है
दें
कि
प्लीज.
लोगों को, हाँ वही बता रहा हूँ कि हैप्पीनेस पर्पस है, और उस हैप्पीनेस को ब्रिंग करने क्या नाम है बनाए रखने के लिए वी शुड इन द अर्ली स्टेज वी शुड मूव द चाइल्ड इन अ that kind of career path. They should not crib about later on in their life. So that should be the strategy. That should I have made it compulsory for the schools. That's
ये तो 5 साल का एजेंडा है सर. इट्स नॉट अ सिंगल डे एजेंडा. आपका जो टेन्योर रहेगा वो एक दिन का है. थैंक यू सुनील जी.
अच्छा, टेन्योर एक दिन का है, तो एक दिन में
थैंक
पॉलिसी
यू.
बन जाती है, साइन चाहिए होता है उसके लिए बस.
Thank you, Sunil ji. Thank you for participating and for your remark. I would request now Kiran ma'am. Kiran ma'am, your concluding remarks and what would be your, idea as Minister of Education. Kiran ma'am.
Okay. So we have talked about many stakeholders, and one of the speakers said that we have not taken parents into consideration. We have taken, but not as much as it should be. So I propose parenting institutes in the country, because that is what is lacking in India at the moment. And it has to start with right from a girl becomes a pregnant mother. Because children not only learn when they are born, they learn while their mothers are pregnant, and during pregnancy, how the mother has been looked after, what kind of thoughts she has had, what kind of environment she has had in the house. All these ones, they help in the development of the child. And of course, once the child is born, even then I would say that the parenting is really not up to the mark. Parents, Indian parents, are very, very lenient with the children. They just do not make the child self sufficient. They just do not know how to deal with the children. They have lots of money. They will give the things to the children which they expect even in the school also, throwing tantrums and all those kind of things. I strongly recommend there should be uh, parenting institutes also, along with whatever NEP is there. So that's my
Right.
take on.
Thank you, Kiran ma'am. Parenting Institute, absolutely, it's very innovative and useful idea. Thank you, ma'am. And now I would request Monisha ma'am, if I may ask you for a concluding remark and your idea as Minister of Education.
So my idea of ministry, if I was into that Ministry of Education, would be something what Kiran ma'am says, but a little different. I would talk about parenting curriculums as per the requirement of the school. See, each school has a different ethos they work on. So each school, a parent who's walking into that school needs to walk into a system where they are ready to buy the ethos. So each school should create a parent curriculum, keeping in mind emphasizing a lot on mental health, because by the end whatever NEP, whatever things may come into practice, nothing can be achieved till the child is stable emotionally and has the ability to handle adversity quotient. A lot of us cannot handle failures, so nothing is possible unless and until. So even if Mr. Dangi says that we need to be happy by the end of it, Kiran ma'am says that we need to look at parenting to be the right way. Eventually, the fact is learn to accept things the way they are. and make modifications. So a school needs to develop and work on a parenting curriculum, emphasizing on mental health, being open about including parents into their system. So when we talk about the ECCE, nothing is possible without the parent being a part of that module and care being an important factor. And EQ or adversity or any of it, automatically what Jayant sir had mentioned about values not being a part of our system anymore, they come into place. So it's a holistic thing that we talk of. And the best thing, what I gather from all of the speakers, and eventually all of us are saying the same thing, that teachers need to upgrade their skills. If we are talking of NEP being eventually it is the teachers, the educators, unless and until they are upgraded, nothing is going to be possible. So each school needs to take responsibility. The bottom line is, and it's a fact, NEP has taken away all the pressures from us. They have given us the flexibility. Now the role depends and entirely depends on the head of the school and the school individually. So that's my concluding remark for this NEP
Thank you.
policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Now I would request Indrajit ma'am if we can have your concluding remark and your idea as Minister of Education.
Yes. Rajulji, I from this post express my gratitude that you have given us the opportunity to interact in such a healthy manner. And from this portal, I would like to say that in my palms, I do not have lines. I have lives of children as a teacher. So it is in the hands of teacher, as Manisha ma'am said. Teachers joyful happenings in the hearts of children, and they are very impressionable. You must have heard children, sometimes the younger children do not listen to the parents. मेरी मैम ने ऐसा कहा है. So you teachers can create an impression. You can do wonders if you wish to do it. So from this portal, I would like to give this message to teachers that you have umpteen number of, you have, I mean, the potential, that potential you possess, which nobody can leave that impression. If a teacher wishes to bring change in child's mindset, in his habits, in his moral values, she can do it. So you need to recognize your potential. You need to recognize your strength. So that my teacher should must work irrespective of school. We all are having one community. So that is the message I would like to give as a concluding remark. And if you give me the response, they give the chance to be the education minister, that only for one day. So I feel that rewards bring a great motivation. So we have prizes or the awards for teachers, but we should have such policies for children as well, grade wise, not only for class 12 when they secure this certain percentage and then the rewarding certificate is given. I will make such policies where children will be, different categories will be devised and children will be rewarded, and certainly we can see this change once will give motivation like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Indrajit ma'am. Reward and encouragement as a tool.
Yes,
Thank you, Indrajit ma'am.
that is the.
Absolutely. So now I would request Jain sir, if we can conclude today's session with your blessings and your concluding remark, and what would be your idea if you become a chance to become a Minister of Education? Jain sir.
Okay, two things. One is that I don't know if any of you, saw the newspaper headline a few days ago that the government for the 2021 college admissions is going to have a common admission test, and pretty much on the lines of the SATs in the US, you're going to have these tests being conducted number of times in the year. Now, this would give you a score, and based on the score, colleges, don't need to have cutoffs anymore. They can admit you on the basis of these scores. Now, this is the best news that is probably not being highlighted so far. If this actually happens, this whole pressure of board examinations, and this actually brings so much stress on the child that the whole happiness factor goes out of the window. So if that comes in, I would say fantastic. uh, Having said that, if I was education minister for a day, I would just follow one thing: focus on government schools, leave the private schools alone. That's it.
Thank you. Focus on government schools. Big thanks, Jayan sir, for that. And once again, I thank all the key speakers, Monisha ma'am, Ajit ma'am, Jayan sir, Kiran ma'am, Sunil Dangi ji, Mr. Nitin Adhaya, Sevio John for participating, and Jyoti ji for participating and making this session truly special. Big thanks once again, and
Thank
thank
you.
you. This is the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.